Right, so a few months ago I tweeted this. We've seen wonder kids in sports, but had there ever been a wonder unk? It's a very simple tweet of mine, just something I was thinking about and put on the timeline randomly to see the kind of answers I was gonna get. But what happened instead was football Twitter getting a hold of it and causing the tweet to go viral all over social media. And I saw many footballers get nominated in the quotes and the replies. But what about racing? You see, in many racing series across the world, you'll see that drivers will hit the age of 30 or 35 and start planning their retirement, assuming they even get to 35. Most drivers are still lucky to be at the top level even after the age of 40. Mark Martin proved that even at the age of 50, racing drivers can still compete at the highest level. And today's video covers a driver that defies the narrative around age. If you are a fan of endurance racing, then it means you've surely heard the name Ben Keating. Ben Keating will go down as one of the great wonder unks of our time, not only in racing but in sports. Why? Well, loyal subscribers of Intern Talks Wheel, sit back relaxed as I tell you another story from the wonderful world of wheel. My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and this is Ben Keating, the greatest bronze driver of all time. Ben Keating's racing journey began in 2007 thanks to his lovely wife Kathleen, who gifted him a weekend-long racing lesson for Christmas the year prior. And safe to say Ben was hooked, and it was easy to see why. Ben Keating up to this point in his life was a successful mogul in the car dealership business, going from owning his first in 2002 to owning over 15 as of me writing this. As a matter of fact, to participate in the course, he just took one of the Dodge Vipers from his showroom. His wife's gift had him hooked and he knew he wanted to continue racing, so to further his dreams, he bought himself a Dodge Viper and raced in a league featuring other Dodge Viper owners. He ended up winning the Viper Racing League title in 2008, leading him to branch out and joining other national amateur leagues and winning them. As Ben continued to gain traction in the US, it was only fitting that he took on the biggest sports car race in America, the Rolex 24. And that opportunity made itself available in 2011. Ben ended up using his grandparents' inheritance to help himself get a ride for that race, and he and his teammates would wheel a Porsche in the GT class to finish P13. He'd try again in 2012 by not just driving one Porsche in class, but two. He would bag a P7 and P24 in the same race. He would actually branch out and compete in other races that year at Watkins Glen and Indianapolis. In 2013, Ben Keating would step up and become a full-time racing driver in what was known back then as the American Le Mans Series, sharing a Porsche for the most part with Damien Faulkner. 2013 would also be the year Ben would score his first major racing triumph, winning the round at COTA before following it up one round later at VIR. He would bag a P8 finish in the standings when all was said and done. 2014 would see Keating join forces with a legendary name in American motorsports, Riley, and this year would see him drive a Dodge Viper. Not like the ones he started his career in. Oh no, this was a Dodge Viper GT3R. This season in the GTD class would see Ben win 2 races and finish 14th in the championship. 2015 would see Ben score the biggest win of his career so far. After racing that day in both the number 33 and number 93 Dodge Vipers, the 93 would cross the line in P1, giving Ben Keating his first ever victory in a class of the Rolex 24. Ben would bag 2 more wins that year to secure a P6 finish overall in GTD. Outside of America, 2015 would also be the year Ben competed in the biggest race in the world, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He would fittingly pilot his trusty Dodge Viper, though his Riley team would not see the end of the race due to a gearbox failure. 2016 would be Ben's peak in IMSA, bagging a P2 finish in the GTD Championship with 3 wins, one of which was another prestigious race in the form of the Petit Le Mans. He would tackle Le Mans again, this time in an LMP2 car, and this would be the first time he'd ever drive one competitively. He'd finish P15 in class. In 2017, Riley would switch from using a Dodge Viper to using a Mercedes AMG. That year in IMSA would see Ben win in class at the 12 Hours of Sebring, bagging yet another prestigious victory, and at the end of the year he'd finish 5th overall. At Le Mans, he would enter the LMP2 class once more, but this time under his own entry, Keating Motorsports, featuring sponsorship by WeatherTech. He'd finish 20th in class. Keating's second attempt at fielding his own entry at Le Mans came a year later, but instead of LMP2, he'd again go the GT route, fielding a Ferrari 488 GTE in the GTE amateur class. And what do you know? Longtime teammates Jeroen Bleekmolen and Lucas Stolz would score a P3 in class, allowing Ben to step on a Le Mans podium for the very first time in his career. A year later, Ben's team, this time in a Ford GT, would go even better, winning the GTE AM class in 2019 and taking to the top step of the podium. This was undoubtedly the greatest victory of Ben's career, which is why it hurt just as much when a post-race technical inspection revealed an infringement that saw him stripped of the win. Now let's take a quick break for a second, because as seen by the title of this video, Ben Keating is a bronze-rated driver. Intern, what does that mean? Well, in most endurance racing series, depending on what class you're in, you're required to have a bronze-rated driver. Allow me to explain. Drivers in endurance racing are rated from platinum to gold to silver to bronze. The drivers seen as the best of the best are usually rated gold and platinum, while amateur drivers, also known as gentleman drivers, are rated bronze. Ben fits the mold of a bronze driver mainly due to his age. Bronze driver criteria states a driver that was 30 or older when his first license was issued and had no prior single-seater experience, which Ben didn't. You see, gentleman drivers play a bigger role in sports car racing than you may think. Not only are they required in some classes, but most amateur drivers you see competing are able to do so because they bring funding that's critical for the team they race for to compete. And Ben is no different. Aside from his own dealership, Ben Keating is backed by a company called WINS, which is why you see it on almost every car you've seen so far. Having an amateur driver is a risk, as they are usually slower than the professionals rated in the silver, gold, and platinum categories. But when it comes to Ben Keating, he tends to be the quickest bronze driver in most races he races in by a mile. And I've seen it with my own eyes too. When I went to Daytona this year, Ben left the other amateurs in the dust, not only in qualifying for the LMP2 class, but also in the first stint before he made an error. Rules state that bronze drivers must qualify their cars in the LMP2 class for IMSA races. What if I told you that as a bronze driver, Ben Keating has won the last 5 poles in the LMP2 class for the Rolex 24 in 5 attempts? Ben will go down as one of, if not the best bronze-rated driver competing today, which is even more insane when you clock that he's 53 years old. Mind you, the lower limit for bronze drivers is 30. Ben eventually went on to redeem himself from his Le Mans DQ by winning the GTE AM class in an Aston Martin fielded by TF Sport in 2022. Only to do it again the year after in the same class, this time driving for Corvette Racing. He went on to win the IMSA LMP2 championship in 2021 for PR1 Matthijssen after bagging a podium in all but one race. He scored his first ever overall Daytona podium on his DPI debut for JDC Miller in 2022. And last year, he became the first bronze driver ever to compete in the GTP class of IMSA, driving the number 85 JDC Miller Porsche 963. He won the 2023 GTE AM Championship in the World Endurance Championship with Corvette Racing, and as of this video, he's won 8 races in the championship, including the opening round this year at Qatar. The point I'm trying to make is, in a sport where amateur drivers are a requirement, Ben Keating has proven to be one of the best possible returns on investment a team could ask for. He's got the funding, he's got the speed, and outside of all of that, he's a really cool dude. And I'm not just saying that because we're mutuals on Twitter. Just watch any interview with him or even the ads for his dealerships and you'll see exactly what I mean. That, my friends, is the ballad of Ben Keating, the greatest bronze driver of all time. My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and thanks for watching.